Donald Trump spent much of his presidential campaign complaining that he was the victim of political persecution, claiming that President Biden and Attorney General Merrick Garland were unfairly targeting him. He wanted everyone to believe that when he sat in that courtroom looking tired or uninterested, it wasn't because of his actions, but because the system itself was broken. The truth is, while Donald Trump has faced serious legal scrutiny, the system is indeed broken, just not in the way he says. It's a system that often protects those with power, money, and influence, allowing them to escape real accountability. And because of that, along with what many view as failures within the Justice Department, Trump has managed to avoid consequences time and time again. Now that he's back in power, however, Trump appears focused on going after his political opponents. And one of his latest targets is New York Attorney General Letitia James. But she's not backing down. In fact, she's just fired back with a major legal move that has Trump absolutely fuming. We're going to break down exactly what she said, why it matters, and what Trump's angry online reaction tells us. But before we get into that, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. It really helps support the channel. Now let's start with Trump's recent comments about Letitia James. Comments that are already being exposed as completely false.
No, she's doing a great job. Pam Bondi is doing a great job. I think Pam Bondi is going to go down as one of the best attorney generals of the ages.
Have you ever threatened DOJ leadership if they don't prosecute with this case?
No, I don't do that. I don't do that. I mean, I look at the facts like everybody else. You read the facts, and to me, she looks terrible. She looks like she's very guilty, but that's going to be up to the DOJ.
We already knew this story didn't add up. We talked about it last night. Donald Trump's post about Pam Bondi wasn't just a random message. It was clearly directed toward the Attorney General, signaling her to target his political rivals, people like Adam Schiff, James Comey, and of course, Letitia James. Trump's online rants have become so erratic and confused that he doesn't seem to understand the difference between a public post and a private message. But here's what's important. Today, Pam Bondi was actually indicted. And the charges? They don't hold up. They're not grounded in fact or reality. Frankly, they're not even worth dignifying as legitimate. What is worth focusing on, however, is Letitia James's response. And it was absolutely powerful. It was firm, clear, and exactly what's needed right now. She laid out the stakes in a way that left no room for doubt. We're going to take a look at what she said, and then dive into Donald Trump's reaction. Because, as always, his posts tell us everything we need to know.
This is nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding. All because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General. These charges are baseless. And the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties. His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me and replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law, but to the president, is antithetical to the bedrock principles of our country. This is the time for leaders on both sides of the aisle to speak out against this blatant perversion of our system of justice. I stand strongly behind my office's litigation against the Trump Organization. We conducted a 2-year investigation based on the facts and evidence, not politics. Judges have upheld the trial court's finding that Donald Trump, his company, and his 2 sons are liable for fraud. I'm a proud woman of faith, And I know that faith and fear cannot share the same space. And so today, I'm not fearful. I'm fearless. And as my faith teaches me, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. We will fight these baseless charges aggressively, and my office will continue to fiercely protect New Yorkers and their rights. And I will continue to do my job.
This is what I said about James Comey, who I certainly don't like as much as I like Letitia James. But when you pre-capitulate, when you in advance say, well, Donald Trump's just gonna beat us, might as well settle. ABC News might as well settle. Colia University might as well settle every single law firm Trump went after. You give him power that he doesn't have. But when Letitia James, who upsets Donald Trump for one main reason, and that's that she's a strong black woman, looks him dead in the eye and says, "Fuck off. There is no reason you are going after me except the color of my skin and how angry I make you." That shows Donald Trump is weak, and I'm glad that she's doing that. And what also exposes his weakness is the insane posting that he's doing in response. Donald Trump, of course, melting down because of Letitia James, and he wrote this recently on Truth Social. Trump recently wrote, "Corrupt Letitia James is costing New York State hundreds of billions of dollars in lost business. No company or individual wants to be there knowing that she's the quote-unquote attorney general. She is a complete and total disaster who tried running against Kathy Hochul for governor and only got 1% of the vote in polls and quit." She then went back to her witch hunt against President Donald J. Trump and others until this scum is removed from the Attorney General's office. No company will move to New York, and few companies will be using the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ for going public. The new Texas Exchange will be taking all of this business away, and we're talking hundreds of billions of dollars. So, of course, Donald Trump is once again lashing out at Letitia James, and it's safe to say there will be plenty more late-night posts to come because she's not backing down. But here's the truth. It's not just Letitia James or James Comey putting Trump on the defensive. These politically motivated attacks and these baseless indictments against his perceived enemies are starting to backfire. Badly. In fact, journalist Lawrence O'Donnell broke it all down perfectly, showing exactly how these desperate moves are blowing up in Trump's face, especially when it comes to James Comey. Grab your popcorn for this one. Let's take a listen to what Lawrence had to say.
2 words. And only 2 words in the courtroom today. It was her first appearance as a prosecutor in an arraignment. In her career as a prosecutor, and career is a very strong word to use for someone who has so far spent exactly 12 work days of her life in that career. If you're a kindergarten student in America tonight, first of all, you should be asleep at this hour. And second of all, you already have a longer career as a kindergarten student than Donald Trump's new favorite prosecutor has as a prosecutor. She proved once again today that she knows absolutely nothing about prosecuting anything. The only 2 words she spoke today were her name, and she got that wrong, as only she could. In a lifetime of listening to lawyers identify themselves in court, as they are required to do at the beginning of a proceeding, I have never heard a lawyer get that part wrong until today. She was surrounded by lawyers who knew how to do it and got it right, including one who showed her how to do it right before she got it wrong. The clerk was the first to speak in the courtroom today, asking the lawyers to, quote, "Please note their appearances for the record." And the proper response to that is the lawyer's name and who the lawyer is representing. Everyone knows that, except Donald Trump's favorite new prosecutor.
These individuals are weak, ineffective, and have failed the people they're supposed to serve. and we should not be afraid to say that out loud. Let's remember the power that we hold. We've seen major networks and corporations back down, not because of Donald Trump's pressure, but because they realize the strength of collective voices like ours. The power of public accountability, organized action, and community engagement is far stronger than any fake tough guy routine. So, let's not lose sight of that. When political leaders or their allies try to discourage or exhaust us, what they really want is for us to disengage, to stop paying attention. But here's the thing. You don't need to react to every story or every post. You just need to stay aware, stay active, and stay involved. That's how we win. We're going to keep covering these issues on this show every single day. We'll continue to speak truth to power and call out corruption where it exists, without fear, without apology. If you want to support this work, as always, hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you've stayed with us until the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.